Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, and two of our three guests are return appearances, and that's Dr. Julie Ducharme. She is the president of Synergy Learning Institute, joined by her daughter, author, speaker, athlete, cool family member, and everything else, Abby. So how you doing, Julie and Abby?
We are doing good.
Yeah, great.
Very good. Which book are you on now?
I'm working on the sequel.
You're going to the sequel. Okay, very good. We might chat about this. And joining us is Shelby Jo-Long. She is the vice president of the Strategic Advisory Board. How you doing, Shelby?
I'm great. Great to be here.
How do you know these cats?
Well, we run in a few similar circles. We met at a business networking event in Nashville, and 6 months later, here we are working together.
Are you live in San Diego?
I do not. I live in Montana, so coming to San Diego is kind of a fun trip.
Where in Montana?
I live in Billings, Montana.
Okay, good. So my business partner on a curriculum business I have is in Belgrade. Is that near you at all? It's more than by Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Right?
It's right outside of Bozeman. Not too far. It's only a couple hours from us.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, Julie, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about our Lead and Empower She Talks event, which is actually happening tomorrow. It's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, where we have partnered with a group who came out with a book called Women Gone Wild, Leading the Fearless Life. And they are bringing in their women, we're bringing in our women. And we're having a lot of great talks and a concert with Jessica Muse from American Idol, and just celebrating women veterans. Especially this week, there was the, was it Wednesday, that it was 75 years where it was signed that women could be in combat. So it's a great time for us to celebrate them.
That's great. And who was the beneficiary of all this?
So our group, Synergy Learning Institute, we have a program called Combat Boots to Heels, which helps women veterans transition out of the military. And we also are working with Melissa Washington from the Women's Veteran Alliance, and she works with thousands of women's veterans across the U.S. doing many different programs.
Right. So is it totally focused on women veterans at this point?
This program is, yes. We're focusing on that. These funds that come in help run our programs. Any veteran who comes to our school gets to take these programs at no cost. So these fundraisers are key for us to be able to keep those programs going.
So what got you interested in working with veterans?
Well, let's see.
We got 3 hours.
I know. It's like
we don't have 3 hours.
Where do we start? Well, both my grandfathers are veterans. My uncle was. I came to San Diego first as an athlete and then living here. And San Diego is a military town. And when I was a dean, it was brought to my attention that many of our transitioning veterans were needing more than just education. And I was a bit naive about it. And then I started educating myself and realizing there were great programs out there, but there were more programs that needed. And so as we dove into that, that's really what kind of set on fire the passion as we learned more and more about, how the sacrifice that our veterans make and what they should be getting when they get out. I didn't feel they were getting that, and that how could we contribute? And for me, being in education, that was a no-brainer. I thought, okay, if I can give them any type of transitional education and support them, then that's where my passion is. It's what I'm good at, and that's how it started 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, you're spot on about San Diego. It's the largest military port in the country, with the Marine Corps and the Navy and Coast Guard, smattering of Army and Air Force as well, and of course a boatload of veterans as well. So, Abby, what's your involvement? Do you speak at this event?
Yes, I am having my own talk at the event.
And what is your talk going to be about?
How to be an unstoppable teenager.
Okay, very good. That is a great. Is that going to on your business card?
I don't have a business card yet.
You need to get a business card on this thing. So, can you do a little bit of a spoiler alert? Anybody who's going to hear this here, but what are you going to talk about? What are some of the keys that make you an unstoppable teenager?
Well, you can't have any limiting beliefs. You're going to need to fail, and you need to surround yourself with people who support and love you.
Okay, very good. So you've got all three of those, right? Exactly.
Yep.
Now, you've got a brother, correct?
Yes.
Now, how does he support you?
He has a really fantastic suit he's going to wear for this event. So,
Yep.
that's a great way.
He's going to be moral and emotional support there.
Okay, very, very, very good. Very good. But he will support you, correct?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, Shelby, talk a little bit about Strategic Advisory Board. What does that do?
Yeah, there's a group of 10 of us. 50% of them are veterans, actually. So that's a
Were you a
good
veteran?
that we have. No, I'm not.
Okay.
50%. There are 5 of the 10 of the Strategic Advisor Board are.
Okay.
So we are a group of a variety of industries that are represented that we help small businesses make a bigger impact. We help them scale. We have resources attached to help them elevate their business and grow and reach more people, which is really that's fundamentally what it is. What I do in my own business, I am more of the communication side of things. I do communication and business development, thought leadership, business development. That's primarily what I do. And I'm also speaking at the event this weekend. So.
Right, exactly. And so when you talk about elevating people in this area, in the small business you work with, are they for-profits? Are they non-profits?
I work with all varieties of organizations. So business is business. The principles are similar. For-profit institutions need to do the same things that nonprofits do. It's all around money and management and making sure your leadership is strong. And so there's a lot of interesting connections. All business needs are relatively the same.
You're spot on that. I've been honored to be involved with a lot of nonprofits throughout my career on this, and I always bristle when someone says, well, it's a nonprofit. You don't need to pay anybody any money. Really? You don't make money when you get paid? You're an idiot. And so those great nonprofits are run like a business,
Sure.
A good business. There are enough businesses that are run poorly, so I always get a kick out of when they say, well, follow us. You mean the one that went bankrupt 15 times? Okay, I think we'll go somewhere else. But it's all about communication. Talk about how important communication is, Shelby. That's something that's near and dear to my heart.
It's so important because particularly in the digital world in the electronic world where we can not have human communication and human contact with each other, I think we kind of lose that connection. And really business relationships, sales relationships, collaborations, and those opportunities don't emerge unless you can communicate and make those connections. Because connections is more than just about the bottom dollar, and it's more than just about sending an email. It's the human connection. That's why events like these are so important, to bring all of these speakers together and to have this connection. And it's going to be an experience in addition to a business development opportunity and speaking opportunities, and it's all an opportunity to collaborate together. And I think it's something that we, especially in the COVID years, we kind of missed having these things, and now it's an opportunity to just make those connections and move things forward.
No, I want to get to back when we come back from a little bit of a thought here. We're chatting with Shelby Jo-Long. She is the Vice President of Strategic Advisor Board, joined by Abby Ducharme, author and speaker that knows this other person very well, Dr. Julie Ducharme, her mom, President of Synergy Learning Institute. I'm talking about Lead and Empower Her. She Talks. I'm going to be making this talk shortly, and it benefits Combat Boots to Heal. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We are now in our 17th year in these beautiful mission-fed studios in Scripps Ranch. Mission-Fed's been doing great things for this community for more than 60 years. Julie, I want to jump on a little bit of what Shelby talked about and get your feedback on this too, Abby. Everyone talks about being a good communicator, but usually people forget about being a good communicator means you have to be an unbelievable listener. Now, people hear. Hearing is very different than listening. So Julie, talk about how important listening is when you give some of your leadership talks.
Really good point. And I learned this the hard way. When I was a young leader, I was really quick to jump in. I want to solve problems. I didn't want to hear the whole thing. And especially if a conflict would come to me, I would try and just solve it before really listening to everything that was happening. So I learned my lesson really well in that. And so I do a lot of listening. In fact, sometimes people will be like, don't you have something to say? And I'm like, I'm just soaking it all in. But I think as communicators, we have to be able to have the side where we listen and we hear. There's a book I read that talks about listening to the air, right? And it talks about other cultures where you actually listen in between the lines of what they're saying, because not everyone speaks exactly what they want. And so we talk about listening to the air around us. And so we try and do that a lot. We work with a lot of different women from across the world. So different cultures, different communities. And then same thing for our women veterans, listening to the air around them. So I really love doing that. And, it's great because Shelby didn't mention this. She is a debate champion and a debate coach. So she's got some great communication skills in there. But that's kind of how I look at it, as I try to listen to the air around us.
Yeah. Now, how about you, Abby? Is your mom a good listener?
Yes.
That's great. Is your brother a good listener? Okay, not quite sure. I don't mean to put your brother on the spot over here. We're going to get him on the air here. He can respond as well. No, in all seriousness, listening is really important. Is that some skill you have to learn? Talk about it.
Well, yes, listening and being able to know when you should and shouldn't talk. I myself should work on that. I'm the kind of person that I don't care if I'm not a part of the conflict. I will jump in the middle of it and stop it. I don't care if I get punched in the process. I will jump in the middle of the conflict and stop it. So most of the time not hearing what's going on, so I'll just do it. I probably should listen more before I hop in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, it's funny because listening is disarming in a very positive way. If you're in a tough situation or you're debating something and all that business. The reason why I'm such geeked up on listening, when I taught journalism for a couple of years at San Diego State, was writing for the media and information gathering. My first lecture was always on listening, and I used all these different studies on how to listen, what's the effectiveness of listening, and the journalism students are going, what are you talking about? I said, if you're going to be a reporter, you better be able to listen. And if you're thinking of the next question before this person is done talking, you just missed 55 different opportunities to ask a killer question because you already had your second question out there. On this. When we come back from break, we're going to chat more with Dr. Julie Ducharme, president of Synergy Learning Institute. Her daughter, Abby Ducharme, will be speaking at this event too. She's an author. We're going to talk about her book when we come back from break. And Shelby Jo-Long, Vice President of Strategic Advisor Board. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union in these beautiful Mission Fed studios in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We are chatting with some folks that are involved in Lead and Empower Her She Talks. Dr. Julie Ducharme, president of Synergy Learning Institute, joined by Abby Ducharme, author, speaker, cool person. and Shelby Jo-Long, Vice President of Strategic Advisory Board. So where's this talk going to be, Julie?
It is going to be in Huntington Beach at the Huntington Club, which is a beautiful golf course out there. It's going to be happening Saturday from 3 to 9.
Okay.
It's actually a red carpet event, so we're getting all fancy. And we will have 19 women speakers. And a few of them that I'm really excited about is we have Sharon Lecter. She's a best-selling author. A lot of people know the book she co-authored, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. We have Jen Welter, first woman to coach in the NFL. We have Justine Siegel, the first woman to coach in the MLB and pitch, a pitching practice. We have Diane Wentworth, best-selling author from Chicken Soup from the Souls, and Dr. Kameen Samuels, the first African-American female helicopter pilot for the Navy. So that's just the first lineup of women, and then we have a long list of other women. So
that's great. Now, will these be recorded so if somebody who cannot go to the event can hear it later?
Yes, yeah, they will be. It will probably take us a month or two to process those.
Right,
a lot of speakers.
That's right. My job is to make the work on people harder. I do a good job on that. Abby, talk about the book you wrote.
The first one or the sequel I'm working on?
The first one.
The first one? Okay. So it's an adventure with me, my friends, and some family, and we're going on an adventure to save the world from an evil master squid who's trying to take over.
And what's the master squid's name, or it's just called Master Squid?
It's just called Master Squid.
Okay, and this popped up in your creative mind?
Yep, way back in 3rd grade. I was just like, popped up and I came up with it, and I've just been kind of like reworking it ever since.
Okay, and so the sequel is going to be back with Master Squid 2.0. How's that work?
I kind of don't really want to spoil it. I want to keep it a surprise.
Spoken like a perfect marketer. Very good. You've absolutely taught her very well, Julie, on this. Very good. Do we know when it's coming out, or that's even more of a spoiler?
To be honest, I really have no idea. Okay. Definitely not this year. I'll say that. But
you will make sure you break the news on our show, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, this is now recorded, so we have this and so forth on this. Shelby, you just talked about communication. You're going to be speaking at this aspect. What's the best advice you can give to folks like Abby? Folks that are certainly leaders in their own mind and all that business. We're actually working on a project with a gentleman, one of the top leader guys around, Harvard educated. We're going to do an audio curriculum with him. But we wanted that to be infused in the schools. I think all the schools should have mandatory as part of the A to G curriculum, which in California is our college-bound curriculum, should be a leadership class. Without question. Should be a communication class as well while we're at it. But definitely leadership. What would you offer to young folks about here, you need to do these types of things if you want to be a leader? Obviously, that's a question that could be answered in about 17 years, but we only have a few minutes.
I also teach at the college level. I teach communication.
Yeah.
I think leadership and communication are pretty synonymous because you can be a great leader, but you can't lead other people unless you can communicate that, and persuade other people, and have your platform and all of that. There's got to be all sorts of connections there. So I've worked with college students for the past 20 years. I teach communication. I run the debate program, teach people all those things. I think as far as, I'm going to speak about this tomorrow a little bit too.
Yeah.
Having a deep understanding of who you are and what your strengths are, and really showing up in your genius and understanding that. And it helps you be a better leader. It helps you perform at your highest level creativity. It helps you influence other people. And those are things that we don't think about. Maybe these things are kind of hidden, and we don't understand them or understand the power that they have in our influence with other people. So I'm going to talk about my debate career. I'm sure that my business partners who are going to be in the audience are really excited to hear about that, because I bring that and those skills into the business world. But they're critical because it all has to do with listening and arguing and weighing consequences and sales processes and all that sorts of things. I would say lean into your strengths, develop your strengths. That's where your charisma is. That's where your emotional connection is to your audience. And that's all about leadership.
It's spot on when you say that. We had earlier on our spotlight shows today, the superintendent of the Escondido Union School District just got a $16 million donation from Mackenzie Scott to continue their focus on learner-centered education. And I've been around education for a billion years. And we've known this since people were walking upright. When you're motivated to do something, you're going to excel at that level. Almost to your point, follow your passion on X, Y, and Z. Your passion may change, so be it. That's great. In this area, finally, we got some of the schools, and I'm a big public school supporter, but God knows there needs to be some improvement on it. And Luis would say this, Superintendent Escondido, all focused on what the kids are interested in. Amazing how you can elevate this. So, Julie, what got you into this? Now, you were a professional volleyball player, professional basketball player as well. Certainly, we all know the learning you get when you play as a team over here. But have you always been into this type of leadership?
Great question. I mean, when I came back from playing, I did what most athletes do. I coached because I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I had gotten my bachelor's degree in communication. I'd gotten an MBA. I started some companies, and I was really just kind of, trying to figure out life. And I got shoved into leadership positions. I was a professor at 23. Mary Sessoms hired me. She was the only person who would. And it was really interesting. Here I'm a 23-year-old trying to teach older people. And so I moved up real quick into, these chair positions and deans. And before you know it, I'm running a college, and I'm wasn't even 40 at the time. I think I was like 29 or 30. And so I really had to learn my leadership styles. And so I did pull from my sports. I learned to be an adaptive leader, a transformational leader, a democratic leader, a situational leader, because everything changes and I have to shift, what I am. So I think that type of leadership, I pulled from all of that, from my experiences there. A lot of mistakes along the way because I started my career really young. And, now it's like I'm looking back at it and seeing how I've evolved as a person and a leader, which is what brought in my companies and brought in everything I'm doing. And being able to bring together women into this type of setting is really important, because I feel that women very often don't realize their worth. I think culturally, they naturally shy away from the limelight and the stage. So creating a platform that gives anyone a voice to speak is really just a passion of mine, because it's really amazing what comes out, and the people I meet, like Shelby and the other, 30-something women that are going to be there from around the world. So, I mean, that's kind of how it developed. And if you asked me at 23 if I would be doing this now, I would have laughed. I would have been like, what are you talking about? I'm just going to coach volleyball forever. So it's been a real transformation.
Well, and that's so true about anything. Of course, there was no such thing as internet radio when I was 23. There was barely running water when I was 23. But, that being the case, who knew it? I was a shy kid that never spoke up. And my dad, who was a medical doctor, had a practice in L.A. and taught medicine at UCLA, said, you probably should take a speech class. I said, I don't like talking. He goes, I think you'd benefit from it. And I did. And now they can't get me to shut up. Been doing this thing for 17 years and all that business. But it's those things that, you mentioned some of the early failures are your greatest successes moving forward. We're chatting with Dr. Drew Ducharme. She's the president of Synergy Learning Institute, talking about Lead and Empower. Her She Talks, joined by her colleagues. One of them is her daughter, Abby Ducharme, an author and a speaker at this it's considered a symposium. What are you calling this tomorrow?
I guess it's kind of like a conference / party. I mean, this one's different.
Call it a composium or something like that.
Yeah. It's a little different. Our normal ones normally are talks and workshops. This one's a talk and a concert and fun. We're just really celebrating women and women veterans.
That sounds good. Also joined by Shelby Jo-Long, who will also be speaking, Vice President of the Strategic Advisor Board. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Abby, but you're very good at answering things spontaneously. What would you say the most important thing you have learned from your parents? Includes dad too, okay? I got to meet your dad sort of on this podcast or the speaker thing that your mom did. When I was at National University, he was in the background trying to make sure the light wasn't going in the studio, if you remember, right?
Yeah.
All throwing his 2 cents into who's going to win the NCAA basketball tournament as well. Now, what have you learned most from your parents?
There's a lot.
Okay. Well, that's going to be another podcast. But if you were to choose a couple things. Confidence?
Yes,
Okay.
confidence. Don't give up. I'm not too young.
Okay.
If I want to do something, I can do it as long as it's not going to harm myself or harm others. And just be myself.
That's great. Yeah, listen, that is great advice. We all know that, and we want people, sort of going to what Shelby is saying as well. Find your passion and go with this. Well, wishing you nothing but great success. Tomorrow, we know we'll probably have a recap somewhere down the road on how that went. Abby, you'll be back on when you have your sequel done. Okay. Now you remember you need to break the news here on our Spotlight on the Community show. Shelby, maybe we'll get you back on when you're back in San Diego. Do you come out here much at all?
She's
I like
going
coming
to.
out here.
Like coming out here and coming on our different things.
I envision that there will be some more of me in San Diego.
Good. We'd love to do that. Julie, always good to see you. Since we ran into each other, now you're a frequent guest of ours at the San Diego Military Advisory Council, which is a pretty cool thing to go to. I hope you enjoy going to those.
Yeah, it's very cool. And if I could say before we get off, if you guys want to check out any other events, it's at leadempowerher.com. And if anyone wants to donate $100, they will receive a Spartan ticket. Joe DeSena, the creator of Spartan Races, has donated 300 tickets for us to give away.
Right, exactly. And I must admit, I gave one of those $100 things. So you can have my Spartan tickets, can go to whomever, but it's for a great cause, combat boots to heal. Well, thanks for joining us, all three of you. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 17th year in this beautiful studio in Scripps Ranch Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of just doing great things in our community. Hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.